Okay, here we go. We're going to start the first match off. Boros Burn. Very traditional shell. See if it still has some wheels. Ooh. That's the kind of hand that you love to see. Eidolon of the Great Revel is, I think, the creature that kind of makes the deck. But it's a little bit tricky. You gotta really manage your life total as much as your opponent's. Opponent is mulliganing down to 5 cards, unfortunately. This is the icon that I opened yesterday in some of the chests at the end of the day. Well, I kind of actually like that one quite a bit. So opponent starts off. He is on Oops all spells. I don't know how well my deck fares against him. Good thing is he took 3 damage. He decided to lightning bolt himself for us. A big upside, actually. I'm not sure what I actually have in the sideboard to deal with this, and he's got a turn 2 Goblin Charbelcher, so I lose. Yeah. So the deck, obviously, it's a combo deck. It can do crazy things. Right off the start, he was able to exile the Simian Spirit Guide and put out the Turn Timber land. 2 mana, he was able to put out a Pentad Prism with Sunburst on it, which says when this enters the battlefield with two charge counters on it for each mana that was spent. He spent 1 red and 1 green mana on that, so he had 2, and then he can remove those counters to add any mana to his pool. So that was 4 mana on turn 2. He's able to bring out the Goblin Charbelcher. Now, maybe we get lucky. I doubt it, though. He still needs 3 mana to activate it, and he only has 1 card in hand. Huh? I don't think so. But we try. We go with our game plan, throw out a very pitiful turn 2. I mean, it's an amazing turn 2. Eidolon of the Great Revel on turn 2 after Lava Spiking is like the best our deck can do. Okay, so he doesn't have it. And that's cool. We're not going to kill him this turn. We're going to take him down to 1. I don't know why I'm doing it in this order, but it's fine. If he blanks, we could be starting off this day with a very interesting thing. The amazing thing is a lot of his lands cost life to enter untapped. And I'm not sure he has an untappable land that's going to be able to activate Charbelcher. Oh my god. Burn confirmed great deck, beating the turn 2 Goblin Charbelcher simply through luck. Okay, maybe the day's going to start off pretty good. So, we're definitely going to be bringing in the Pithing Needles. I don't know how effective the Roiling Vortexes will be. I believe Rest in Peace has to come in as well, and probably Wear Tear has to come in. So a lot of cards that can come in. Searing Blaze is not a card that I want to have in the deck. It's going to hit a creature. He's not going to be playing many creatures anyways. So Vengevines are part of this Oops All Spell deck. They're going to come in whenever you cast your second creature spell. But you just return it from the graveyard. So Roiling Vortex does not, in fact, hit that. Goblin Charbelcher is a totally different thing. It's just going to be lands, or the lack of lands, rather. Pact of Negation is a 0-cost spell, but that's only 1 or 2 of in the deck. It's not a big deal. I think our package is these 6 cards. Actually, I think I like the Smash the Smithereens over the Wear Tear. Wear Tear is... they do play Leyline of Sanctity in the side. Never mind. I think it is Wear Tear. Wear Tear, I like... So some decks are playing 4 Smash the Smithereens, which is a great card. Destroy target artifact only. Deals 3 damage to target artifact... artifact's controller. Target artifact's controller. Wear Tear, on the other hand, is a split card where we can either destroy an artifact or destroy an enchantment. We are really afraid of Leyline of Sanctity because that prevents us from sending all of these cards at our opponent's faces. We gotta kind of rely on our creatures. So these 6 are gonna come in. I don't like the Searing Blaze. The Skullcracks are probably the other one that I want to take out. The deck I don't think really gains any life. Okay, I've never played this particular matchup. Oops, all spells against burn. So the sideboard plan is a little different. Now, this is very good to have because this really slows down one of his win cons. We're still weak to Goblin Charbelcher. He does have the Leyline of Sanctity, so I need a Wear Tear, and I need it fast. Hi, bud. You know what? I'm going to fire off the Wear Tear now. They do play Pact of Negation, so it's possible that he could pack this. However, if he packs it, he loses. So I mean, it would be foolish. So we'll get rid of that, and now all of our burn spells are live. I also think I'm going to... I might slam this on turn 2. I'm not sure there's going to be a hurry to do it. I think it's probably best to slam it on turn 2. If he has more Simian Spirit Guides, he can go. He was... Wow. Our opponent is really stuck. I think I'm still going to slam this, get the insurance. And I really feel like our opponent is very far behind. He did draw the land. I mean, the deck has tons of lands. Of course, it's going to draw land. We'll fire off a Lava Spike, and then we'll put out the Eidolon of the Great Revel. And go from there. Okay. Okay. So opponent has plenty of mana. He can, in theory, next turn... This is only 3 or less. So he can Goblin Charbelcher next turn. Eidolon of the Great Revel is, of course, symmetrical. So every time I cast spells that are 2 CMC or less, or 3 CMC or less, I take 2 damage as well. Very, very fair card. So this is turning off his spies that fill the graveyard. He has 2 of them, in fact, in the deck. Kind of bring this over for a quick second. So here's the deck, in case you don't know. He has this spy. It says when it enters the battlefield, target player reveals cards from the top of his or her library. They target themselves. Until he or she reveals a land, which they don't have any lands because they play all the flip lands. And they put all the cards in their graveyard. And then things start happening because they have Creeping Chills, they have Vengevines, they have the Salvage Titans, they also have the Sword of the Meek, cards that are all going to be coming back. His win con right now is the Goblin Charbelcher that we saw last turn. So that right there is a win if he doesn't have anything. Okay. Awesome. Burn beating the combo deck. We had the right pieces for that match. We had the Rest in Peace to stop the combo. He did have enough mana. Whether or not he was sitting on one of those spies that I just showed you or not, I don't know. But got there, and what a great start to the day. Finally, I've been losing tons of games in the first round, and it's nice to pick up a win match 1. All right, jumping right into match 2 nice and quickly. A lot of people in this league, so games should pop a lot faster than they were yesterday during the Pauper League. Okay, this is another fantastic hand. You always want burn spells. Of course, it's burn, so you want to have a lot of fire to throw at your opponent, but the deck really hinges on its creatures. Yeah, Arbor Elf is coming in our near future. Yeah, you want to have a lot of creatures because they do make the difference. Now, I do have a choice. Do I want to suspend the Rift Bolt? Do I want to Lava Spike? Or do I want to lead out with the Goblin Guide? The Goblin Guide is a great creature to get on the board. It's a 2/2 with haste. However, it has the downside of possibly giving lands to your opponent. I think, though, the play is almost always to lead on Goblin Guide so he can betray you as early as possible during the match. I am going to get a Sacred Foundry and pay for it here because my other land, although it is a Sunbaked Canyon and a Boros land, I might sack it later on, and I want to make sure that I have white mana. He did reveal the Chandra, so he might load up, and that's not a great card for us because Clothis has life gain built into her, so he's going to be eating my spells on his upkeep and making me sad. I think I want to slow roll these spells. I don't want Clothis getting immediate value. So we'll just put out the Eidolon, save the Swift Spear. She has haste anyways. If we draw another land next turn, we can maybe hit him for a lot. Okay, he's got the Blood Moon. So Blood Moon, actually, although we are red and right now it's not affecting us, I've always found that Blood Moon can be pretty impactful against Burn. He's going to eat this, get a little extra mana. Clothis says if at the start of your upkeep you may exile a card from your graveyard or from any graveyard. If it is a land card, you generate either red or green mana. Otherwise, you gain 2 life and you deal 2 damage to the opponent. So Chandra is going to explode the Eidolon, which is fine. So that means Clothis now has food. Yeah. Okay, so I definitely want to kill the Chandra. She's nothing but trouble for me, and I think I'll probably just send out the team here. We'll establish a board and then prepare to throw some spells next turn. Now, what does the Goblin Guide reveal? He reveals Pillage. Now, Pillage is a disaster for us because we're only on 2 lands, and going down 1 land is not ideal. However, we do have the board, so we are always applying some pressure. And we'll be left with 1 land anyways to cast one of these spells at the very worst. I imagine he flings off the Pillage. The Blood Moon is probably not going to be very impactful. If he plays the Blood Moon, I'm very okay with it. In fact, if he plays it, he's dead. Is he dead? It'll be... Yeah, he'll be dead. Bloodbraid, a little different. Bloodbraid's really good, especially pulling the lightning bolt off the top. She cascades into something and was able to wipe out our poor Goblin Guide. Probably needs to stay back on defense, but our opponent is an aggressive boy, so he's going in. All right, I think I want to leave the Skullcrack to maybe blank the life gain this turn. So I'm going to let Clothis eat something. I'm going to respond to that trigger, and I'm going to Skullcrack. Skullcrack says players can't gain life this turn. So I am still going to take 3 damage. But as long as he... If he pillages, we need a land. If he doesn't pillage, then we can just blast him with fire. He'll die. If he has another Bloodbraid, we die. If he has another hasty creature, we die. He's pillaging and stomping. He can't attack. Okay, land, we win. Not a land. Awkward. So now the big problem is that Clothis is going to gain life. That pillage, I knew it was going to come up as a problem for us. Basically, I need him. Monastery Swiftspear is going to probably be chump blocking this turn. He's going to go up to 8. I need a land. Clothis is really keeping him in this game right now. He might just play out the Bone Crusher. That's fine. I don't care about the Blood Moon. Bone Crusher. Okay, so we're land or bust. He actually helped us out a little bit by playing that Blood Moon, because now we're going down to 1. We basically need a mountain. Straight up mountain. Nothing else is. Oh no, yeah, mountain gets us there. Only. No. So a little unfortunate. We were hung on mana, and the opponent had a pillage. We do have obviously the 6 damage to finish the game if we have enough. Instead, we take the honorable way out and we lava spike our faces. Okay. Clothis did gain him quite a bit of life, and I'm not sure if this is worth it. He is playing Bloodbraid Elves. Hard to say. 3 times fast. He will take 5 damage every time he cascades into that Bloodbraid Elf. But it also does damage to us. Unlike the other Curse from Pauper that only does damage to the opponent, this is also going to be hitting us. I don't know. I think it might be a little bit too cute. I don't know how much I care about the Blood Moon. I bet he probably takes it out of the main board and brings in something else. It is stopping us possibly from casting Boros Charm and Lightning Helix, and the burn deck does not play basic planes. Rest in Peace is useless. Path to Exile might be good. He does have a lot of aggressive creatures, and this could potentially get Clothis off the board if she becomes a creature, but that's asking a lot. I want to see if the Roiling Vortex comes into play here. I'm going to take out the Skullcracks because he doesn't have a lot of life gain. Yeah, I don't know. I want to try it. Put it in the deck. I want to see how it works. We don't get a chance to see how it works. But this is a solid hand. I will roll with it. Opponent down to 5. I think our opponent mulliganed, or maybe I'm thinking of the last game. No, he started with 7. He had a very good hand right from the start. In this case, I am going to suspend a Rift Bolt and see where we are next turn. Okay, opponent is not doing anything turn 1. So this Rift Bolt comes off suspend. Obviously, it's got to go face. And we draw another land, which is some good insurance against a deck that likes to blow up our lands. I really wish we had a creature right now that could be applying some pressure, but 12 points of damage in hand might be enough. I don't need to do anything right now. I can end of turn Lightning Helix. If he plays out something that is very important, I might want to Lightning Bolt it. Lots of options. Headphones still turning off. I don't know what's going on with these things. They should be staying on. All right, we'll fire off the Lightning Helix. Use our mana efficiently. Getting closer to that magical number. Oi. Not a great play by our opponent. Just dealing 2 damage to our face is pretty much irrelevant in the grand scheme of this match. He's probably just playing his mana efficiently like I was on turn 2. He might just play out the Bone Crusher. No. Alright. I am going to fire off one of these because if we draw another burn spell, we're golden. The only burn spell that I don't want to see is Rift Bolt. Okay. So we get a redraw with the Sunbaked Canyon. Opponent just hasn't really done much. I guess he kept a kind of a lackluster opener. Okay, Seasoned Pyromancer, fantastic card. A card I actually want to pick up, but it's just a little bit too pricey. I'll probably end up just going with a subscription instead of buying them. Cindervine's cool card. I've been really enjoying it in Historic. It deals damage to opponent for each non-creature spell they cast, and then it can blow up an enchantment. So I'm going to sack this, draw. Okay, well, I think, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I was thinking about this, but it's not going to be relevant. So we get the opponent because they had kind of a lackluster hand and a lackluster start. Nothing particularly interesting going on. Just a turn 2 Bone Crusher Giant to the face, and burn deals enough damage. Okay, leave it like that and go back. All right, I like this hand. The Eidolons are obviously soft to Bone Crusher Giant, but they'll do their job. Opponent is mulliganing down to 6. Hopefully Searing Blaze can get some value. Turn 1 Arbor Elf is not great. If he plays out a turn 2 Arbor Elf, that's fantastic. Okay, nothing turn 1. Opponent having some issues over there. We will, of course, suspend a Rift Bolt, and the Boros Charm is a great job. Boros Charm, the one spell in the deck that actually does 4 damage. Everything else pretty much does 3, aside from creatures. Boros Charm sometimes comes up as the hero. Oh, it's just not working out for our opponent. Even if I didn't have the Searing Blaze, that Ooze is pretty much a sacrificial creature. But I do have the ideal card for it. And I think he must know it because we said the Rift Bolt face. That only means one thing. Searing Blaze. Okay. An annoying card, but not... I don't think it's going to be enough for him. No. So, let's preserve some life. We'll fire this off, and then we'll put out the Eidolon. I don't think I care. All right, opponent is kind of under our thumb right now. Chandra would be very good for him. Land Chandra. Oh, I didn't even consider that. So the Eidolon of the Great Revel is in fact an enchantment creature, and you can use Cindervines to destroy an artifact or an enchantment for 1, and it deals 2 damage to target player. Pretty cool. I like that line by our opponent. I always forget that these are enchantment creatures and that there are other enchantment creatures in the format. Okay, opponent plays Out of Seeds of Pyromancer. He pitched Arasta, okay, and the Lightning Bolt. Well, I think my plan is to go grab a mountain, fire off this Boros Charm, and put out another Eidolon, and hope he can't deal with it, and that means any spells that he has to cast are going to cost him life, and it basically just gives me enough time to find the damage to deal 5 to his face. I'm not going to block. Of course, he's going to get a free 2 damage in on me. The interesting thing here is if he casts any spell that is less than 3, he would go down to, or yeah, less than 3, he would go down to 3 life, and that puts him in that magical lightning bolt range. Obstinate Baloth, very good against burn decks because it gives him 4 life. 4 life is that sweet spot because it's 2 of our spells most of the time instead of 1. Okay, draw the Lightning Helix, draw the Lightning Bolt. Okay. The spot's a little bit worse now because we're almost at the point where I need to start chump blocking. He does play Lightning Bolts, so it's possible that he could fling one off. Lightning Helix is going to save me a lot of life. If I let this through, it's going to be 7. Puts me down to 3. Lightning Helix will deal 2 more damage to me, take me down to 1. But it'll also gain me 3 life. I think, unfortunately, I cannot keep this Eidolon around very long. I have to probably block the Obstinate Baloth, fire off the Lightning Helix after the Eidolon is dead, and then hope to peel another burn spell. I don't think there's any way I can let... Of course, I could block 1 elemental, but then I'd be letting, again, 7 through, and then Eidolon's still alive. Eidolon kills me. Eidolon is definitely a liability when you get down pretty low in life. So we're blocking the big guy, which sets the opponent free. The opponent was smart, obviously, to attack before throwing out spells. Yeah. Okay, so this girl, I didn't read her. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, you're going to create some babies. Okay, so that means we want to respond, throw off the Lightning Helix beforehand. And if we pull a burn spell, we get there. That's the opposite of a burn spell. So he's 7-10 damage on board. Means I have to play out a chump blocker. If he can remove the Goblin Guide, he's got me. Okay, he has a redraw, 2 fresh cards. Pitching the Clothis, okay. It's a little late in the game for her. So not dead yet by the looks of things. Although, again, if he has a Lightning Bolt, he may have just saved it for our face instead of... Oh, did he find... Okay. Okay, so this is basically... This is the hand. Or this is the draw. I fire it off now. You can make your 1-1 or 1-2. It's gotta be a burn spell. Am I smiling? I'm smiling, right? All right. All right. Awesome. Top decks are a huge thing when you're playing the burn deck. It's the same thing with the mono red prowess deck that I used to pilot before the Is It one became more prominent. You're playing down to your last card almost every time. You're just firing out lightning and fireballs at your opponent until they're in that lethal range, and that usually means you go down pretty empty in your hand, and you're most of the time end up playing off the top of your deck. So it's not too surprising that that's the way it came down. That's kind of the deck, which is exciting. I love playing it in paper because if you're playing against a very fun opponent or a friend, and the game's getting real tight. Like in this case, I knew I needed the lightning bolt. I probably would have slow rolled it and just gradually took it off the top and probably open flipped it. Of course, you're not going to do that in a tournament setting, but when you're playing casually or you're playing against a very good humored opponent, that's the kind of thing that you can do with burn, and it makes the game a lot more exciting and just fun. Oh, that guy! Wow. All right. I thought I kind of recognized his name. He is on 37 trophies. Not a bad player whatsoever. Probably one of the better ones grinding on MTGO. Okay, on the draw. Gotta say, I've been getting pretty lucky with our opening hands. This is kind of what you want to see, especially getting out a prowess creature and a goblin guide, having the lightning and other burn spells following up. Our opponent is on a Lurrus deck, maybe Hammer Time. I think the deck probably does well against Hammer Time. We're loaded up in the sideboard against that, because of Smash to Smithereens and Wear Tear. However, that's not a Hammer Time card, so I'm not sure what our opponent's up to. Let's see if the Goblin Guide can reveal a little bit of information about our opponent. Okay. Oboro. Oh, it's Mill. Okay. I don't mind this matchup, actually. Yeah, this could work out well. So 100% we throw out the Swift Spear, and we unfortunately have to suspend the Rift Bolt. We can't get the immediate prowess trigger. This match 100% race. Let's just see who goes faster. We reveal the Fatal Push, very good for our opponent. He can probably gonna take out the Swift Spear. There's no reason to hit the Goblin Guide. There is if it's only a Goblin Guide, but okay. Mesmeric Orb for our opponent is good. So he's gonna wait to Fatal Push our Monastery Swift Spear because he wants us to mill one extra card with the Orb. Smart boy. So we yield to this amazing card and throw 3 damage at our opponent's face. Eidolon is very good, and I think the play here is to draw out the Fatal Push. If he doesn't Fatal Push, this opponent has some quite the constitution. Yeah, here it comes. So I like the Eidolon now because a lot of the, well, we know because of Luris, a lot of his deck is going to cost 2 or less. And I mean, it's modern. Everything costs under 3 pretty much, with the exception of like a Chandra, Glorybringer that we might have seen in the last game if it had gone a little bit longer. Very likely that this Eidolon's at least going to get 2 damage in, probably 4. Okay, we're going to mill 3 cards. Okay. Okay. He did end up having the answer for it. But opponent's still dead, unless he has a way of stopping some of these burn spells. So we'll start off with the Skewer. Go to a Lightning Bolt. Take down game 1. Right on. Yeah. This is going to be a race. The Hedron Crabs on turn 1 might have changed things quite a bit for our opponent, but he was quite slow. A Maddening Cacophony on turn 2. Well, whatever, 8 cards, not a big deal. We already had the damage that we needed in hand. The early aggression. Smooth sailing. So I like the Smash to Smithereens to be able to take out the Mesmeric Orbs. Skullcrack, not relevant. Oh, it is maybe possibly relevant because I think the deck plays Crypt Incursion, which makes me wonder if it's worth it to bring in the Rest in Peace. The Rest in Peace is going to be able to stop his Luris. It's also going to be able to stop his Visions of Beyond, which allow him to draw extra cards. There are a lot of things that a Rest in Peace might get in the way of. I would like to bring up the mill deck very quickly, so we'll take a look at it. So yeah, like I said, Loris obviously plays with the graveyard. Visions of Beyond says that you can draw 1 card, but if your opponent has, if any graveyard has 20 or more cards, you draw 3 cards instead. Very good. Drown in the Lock obviously relies on the graveyard as well because it needs cards in there to do that. Crypt Incursion is the one that I'm very afraid of. If he casts a Crypt Incursion, I'm dead. Very dead. So I think Rest in Peace actually a good choice, and I kind of now wanna. I talked myself into wanting to leave the Skullcracks in the main board because of Crypt Incursion. Irrelevant. Not gonna happen. I mean, there's like one spell in his deck that does that. We have the smash for the Wear Tear. He's not gonna be bringing in Ley Lines of Sanctity, I think. So we got to make some cuts. 4 cards got to come out. I like the Syrian Blazes because of the crabs. Usually, Skewers and Riftbolt are our weakest cards overall. Because all of the cards in the burn deck kind of do the same thing. It's just they have slight conditions that make them a bit worse. All right. Try it. So we get 2 Rest in Pieces. Rest in Pieces. Rests in Peace. It's hard to make it plural. Yeah. I think it's fine to keep this hand. We don't have a ton of action, but we do have the early aggression with the Swift Spear and the Goblin Guide. Unfortunately, Rune Crab 0-3, very good at blocking. I just got to play it out. I'm not going to attack with it. If I attack with it, he chump blocks it and possibly gives him a land. It's just terrible for us. Second Rune Crab with a land, he's going to be milling a ton of cards. This one only with a 2 health. The newer Rune Crab from Zendikar Rising is a little bit bigger. Okay. This is a liability. If I fetch, he can possibly play out the Archive Trap for free. It says if an opponent has searched his or her library, you may pay 0 rather than pay the 5 CMC for Archive Trap. And then we mill 13 cards. Not cool. So what am I doing? I'm playing Arena, dragging cards out. I think I slam the Rest in Peace. It's just a card that I think is going to be good in this matchup. We're still kind of on this mill clock. Him having the 2 early crabs is very advantageous for him. Obviously, with the fetch land, he's going to get 4 triggers with these crabs, and that's a lot of cards. They can honestly go the way by themselves. And we are a little bit soft. I wish that other Rest in Peace was an actual burn spell. Smash to Smithereens is kind of what I need now. Yeah. I didn't actually think about the Rune Crab having a 3 toughness, but possibly the Goblin Guide is one of the weaker cards, and the Rift Bolt and Skewer should have stayed in because both of those cards can kill these, whereas the Boros Charm is 4 damage to player or planeswalker, not to a creature. Lava Spike, same thing, only to a player or planeswalker, so a little bit weak. Opponent is down to 3 cards. But we are already down to 30 cards in our library, and we have not done really any damage. Well, no, we haven't done any damage to our opponent's face. The only damage he did to himself from a fetch land. There's the Vision of Beyond, so at least we're blanking that a little bit. Is it enough to justify the Rest in Peace, slowing us down so much? I don't know. There's the Fatal Push, which is very good because the Swift Spear could get big enough to contest the opponent, but yeah. Okay, Vision. So he didn't draw his land. I am very scared of cracking this Wooded Foothills because he must have it in his hand. The Rift Bolt is going to... I think it has to hit the Rune Crab. I really wish I could have done that a lot earlier in this game, not turn 4, turn 2. Okay. Let's see what we reveal. And let's skip this song. I don't like this one. We reveal a Mesmeric Orb. Okay, he probably just takes this damage. The Hedron Crab is much more valuable than 2 life. Okay. That tells me that he has the spells in hand to get him 17 cards deep. So if he Fields of Runes me, if he uses the Field of Rune on me, that forces me to fetch for basic land, which means it'll turn on his, what is it called, Archive Trap for free. We got to play efficiently. We got to toss this 4 damage to his face. I got to attack. I don't like this because the Mesmeric Orb is gonna... Oh, there's the Archive Trap. So I'm dead? Yeah. Yep. I think he has me with what he has in hand. I don't think he needs that. So I'm gonna crack this anyways. Get 1 extra damage in with the Boros Charm. Yeah, whatever. Let's shock ourselves. If this were a lightning bolt, things might be a little different. No, it wouldn't be different. So if he uses Field of Rune now, he dies. Well, no, it's end step, sorcery speed. Yeah. No, opponent got us. That's fine. It ended up being very close, even though we had the slow start. Yeah. I don't know what the opponent's thinking about. Maybe he's deciding whether or not he wants to do the Field of Rune, but he just waits on the Field of Rune, and okay, yeah, or he does this. He has the Archive Trap in hand now. He fields me. I have to search my library. It's not a choice, and then he fires off the Archive Trap for free. And then he simply passes his turn, and that is the end of this story. We could have scooped it up, but you give the opponent the satisfaction. And there's the Crypt Incursion. So that's a thing. Also, see, I don't know if he should have done that. He revealed to me that he's playing a Bantu's Last Reckoning. Where is it? There it is. As a very cool board wipe. All right. The fact that he had the Rune Crabs right from the start, and we had creatures with 2 power that we're not able to get through, really crippled us. It makes me want to bring in 1 more Rift Bolt and the Skewer, take out the Goblin Guides, because they just didn't seem like they were going to get me there. Okay. We got our burn. We don't have any creatures. Mulliganing, opponent mulliganing down to 6. We're gonna go with the risky quick crack. I'm gonna hope he didn't hold an archive trap in his opening hand. Get it out of the way. Suspend that. There it is. I've had games. I've played a little bit of Mill. I think Mill's a fun deck. It's a deck I want to learn how to play a little bit more. I've had games where your opening hand is like 3 archive traps and your opponent cracks a fetch. It feels real good. The game's it's over from that point pretty much. 100% hitting this Hedron Crab. It sucks. I want to be putting damage on face, but just can't afford to let that crab survive. The crabs are arguably the best cards in their deck. They now have 8 of them thanks to Zendikar Rising, and because of Luris, they're able to actually bring them back. So if this game does go late, he can bring him out of the graveyard. Also, Mesmeric Orb, if we were able to smash it, he can bring that back out. So he has the second crab. He probably has a fetch land to follow it up with. Okay, just the basic. That's fine. Not going to hurt us too much. It is a swamp, so that might be representing a fatal push, although it might just be the card that he has. Boros Charm, may as well. It's 4 damage to his face. He doesn't play any walkers, so we'll just do that. Yep. We're going to get rid of the crab. Play this out. I don't think I'm worried. There's no way he's going to use a Crypt Incursion now. You want to get maximum value for it. There's only 2 creatures in the graveyard. I'm not even sure Crypt Incursion hits your own graveyard. Oh, okay. So it can be target player's graveyard. So in theory, if he flung it off now, he could get some creatures there. I actually didn't look at my graveyard to see how many there were. Now it's to the point where I probably want to be leaving up Skullcrack at all times to make sure he doesn't gain life from the Crypt Incursion. It does cost 3 mana, and he's only at 2. Yes, that's right. So it's possible that he has it in hand. He's just digging for the mana. It's also possible that he doesn't have it yet. Now, we don't play a lot of creatures, but even just taking 2 creatures from our graveyard is crippling. And I should mention, down to 13 cards in hand, which means bad news. And this Searing Blaze is not helping me whatsoever. That Archive Trap plus 2 glimpses, it's just, that's 33 cards by itself. Might be dead. We might be losing this race. Should I Skullcrack? Should I dig for a card? I think I just dig for a card. Okay. It would be a lot nicer, of course, if I could have saved that Sunbaked Canyon for the Searing Blaze. Potentially he plays a crab later. The Searing Blaze came at a bad time. If it came in those first 2 turns, it would have been glorious. Okay. Just kind of got to hope that he threw away all his burn spells. Or his mill spells, rather. She's some pressure. But she's also milling me again. Pretty much if he has a Maddening Cacophony, if he has another Glimpse, if he has the Archive Trap plus a way to activate it. There are so many cards that do me in here. Okay. I think now is the time that I Skullcrack. It's again with burn coming down to 1 card. A lot of cards in hand. That's the one that doesn't do it. So it's a redraw. Let me think this through. I attack with the Monastery Swift Spear. He can block it. I could, in theory, throw off the Searing Blaze to deal 1 damage to his face, but then I don't have enough mana to play out the Eidolon the Grey Revels. Not good. It's gotta be sack, draw. If I draw into a land, gold. If I draw into any of the burn spells that are not, it can't be Skewer, it can't be Rift Bolt, we're gold. If I draw into a Goblin Guide, not good. Swift Spear, not good. All right, so it's like half the deck is good. If I were a better player, what I could have done there is actually looked down and seen all the cards that are in the graveyard and figured out what I would need, but that's a lot of effort. And I'd rather just play in the moment. It looks like we might be getting another draw. Wow, that's upsetting for the opponent. GG's? I'm not sure how I feel about that win. The opponent had us. I was done. I was down to what 12 or 13 cards by turn 3 or 4, and he must have just drawn blank. He didn't even draw a land. What could he have drawn that forced him to do nothing? Okay. Doesn't matter. Burn got there. We are now up 3-0. Okay, match 4. Here we go. Up 3-0. Feeling good. Lots of fun games. Lots of hard-fought battles. And finally, a hand that I'm not too excited about. This hand is very middle of the road. The deck wants 2 to 3 lands, 4 at its top end, and we already have 4. So keeping this is kind of asking my deck to not draw me another land. But throwing this back, it's good enough. It's almost good enough. I don't know what the opponent's on. We'll try it. We are on the draw against control. Okay. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Stoneforge Mystic, which means Batterskull, which means sadness. Are we finally up against the Uro matchup? It's been a few days since I've seen Uro. Because we played Pauper. And hey, if you don't want to ever see Uro again, play Pauper. Unfortunately, Swift Spear doesn't get through our Stoneforge, and that means this Batterskull's coming down, which also means this game is just out of my control now. Batterskull is definitely one of the cards that's going to keep Burn in check. As long as Stoneforge Mystic is in decks and Batterskull's running around, it's a big card. And that's part of the reason why, obviously, the sideboard has Smash Smithereens, it has Wear Tear. Even Pithing Needle is probably going to come in this matchup to prevent Sword Equips, to prevent Batterskull from bouncing back to its hand, to prevent Stoneforge from bringing that card in. Now, I can no longer attack. I am just in trouble. Batterskull also has Vigilance, so that guy is going to stay on defense, and he's going to be getting in for 4. I'm not sure what to do here. Okay. That's an okay card. opponent very quickly tapping that Stoneforge Mystic to get Batterskull, and he knows the value of that Batterskull. It's going to be a powerhouse this entire game. There's no reason for him not to attack here, which means I have to fire off the Skullcrack. But the problem is I know he also has a Force Negation, which he can hard cast if he wants to. I really like the Bant Stoneforge decks. I think they're fun to play. They have a lot of different lines. They have a lot of resilience. It's a deck that I was building and kind of moved away from, but I definitely want to revisit it. I'm going to toss a towel in on this one just because this Batterskull is going to be miserable the entire game. There's no way I'm going to deal with it. So we do have the sideboard package, the Smashes, the Wear Tears, and the Pithing Needles. Now he does play counter magic, so he can protect these relatively well. We got to take out 6 cards. A lot of cards to take out. Searing Blazes are very good because he's going to certainly be playing will be playing creatures like Stoneforge. It'd be nice to take them out. Skullcrack is obviously staying in because it's going to blank some of the life gain he gets from Uro, which we didn't see, but let's assume it's a Bant deck. He probably has Uro. And from the Batterskull. Lava Spikes are not super interesting. They are, a very efficient card, but it's a strictly worse Lightning Bolt. I just hate taking out so much of our direct damage. Yeah. Not enough reps in with the burn decks to really understand how to sideboard with them. It's a learning process, I guess. All right, I think I have to lead on the Goblin Guide. At least this time I do have the Lightning Bolt. The problem last game was that I didn't have a way to. There's the Uro. We knew Uro was lurking in that deck somewhere. He's always there. I didn't have a way to deal with the Stoneforge on turn 2. Now I do. So the Noble Hierarch means turn 2 Uro, which means it's blanking one of our burn spells. Kind of annoying. But I think it would be premature to use the Lightning Bolt on a Noble Hierarch. There's always arguments for it. You always bolt the bird, right? But the deck, I don't know. Is it right to bolt the Hierarch? I might regret it, but I'm going to go against general convention. Classic wisdom of bolting the bird. I'm going to let the bird live for a bit. So, Mrs. Noble Hierarch, you get to do your thing. If he Uros here, I feel like it's not such a big deal for me. If he plays out a Stoneforge Mystic, it's a bigger problem. Okay. Actually, I didn't look what it revealed. It revealed that land. Okay. So now I'm thinking I might want to bolt the Noble Hierarch simply because he doesn't seem to have blue mana. And if I can take him off a specific source, I think it's worth it. Okay. So he's playing a very angry deck now. Okay, draw. Is there an argument for just sending the Boros Charm to the face right now, getting it? Yeah, let's get around whatever counter magic he might have if he has a blue spell, or a blue source rather. we'll just do that now. Why not? Let's hope he. Yeah. I'm not sure why I didn't bring in the Roiling Vortexes. This is kind of why the card's in the deck. Yeah. Oops. Okay, he reveals an Ice Fang Quaddle. We get in for 3 more damage. Ice Fang's a good card. It's going to have Death Touch because he does have 3 amazing Snowlands. But he is a little stuck on mana. Only having 1 blue source is going to hold him back. Uro does need 2 blue sources to emerge. I guess it's escape. Wow, that is an unfortunate draw. Unfortunately, Smash to Smithereens, it needs the target, and it's one of the downsides of the card. It's a big card if you can use it. I feel like I have to Lightning Bolt the Quaddle, get in for 2. And now I'm not too worried about a Stoneforge because I do have both the Smash to Smithereens. If he ends up bringing... Oh my god, he's going to have another Quaddle. Quaddle is such a great card. And he had this... Okay, well, our opponent has our number in this game. That is the Uro deck for you. They just play awesome cards, and it's hard to get out from underneath them. Even when they're drawing kind of poorly, there's not a whole lot we can do. Literally nothing we can do with these 3 cards in hand. I guess I could kill the Quaddle, but who cares? He does draw the second Uro, and if he gets a blue source, he will be able to escape one of these Uros now. So this game kind of got away from us. It was a good start, but the opponent had the right answers, and that's about all it kind of came down to. It is the most powerful deck in the format, 100%. I know a lot of people are talking about whether or not it will stay in the format. I don't have an opinion on it right now. That's not helping me. We'll play it out for the sake of playing it out, but Uro is going to escape next turn. Uro is going to be a house. There's not a whole lot I can do to fight against him. He has the On Thin Ice as well. So he has the On Thin Ice and he has the Uro coming. A little unfortunate that the Searing Blaze didn't line up to something. Our Smash to Smithereens didn't line up to something. It just didn't work out. And that's okay because, you know what, the first 3 rounds or matches that we played, it did work out for us. It's got to go south at some point. All right, let's get into our last one. See if we can finish strong with a 4-1. All right. So here we go. Match 5, 3-1 in the league so far against Potato People. Cool hand that could really do a lot of work if our opponent is a little bit slow. Storm? Is that you, Storm? So I think I gotta lean on the Goblin Guide. We'll see if this reveals anything. Hopefully he doesn't help our opponent out with a wonderful land. This could also be the Is It As Foretold deck, which is a deck that I really enjoy playing, and I was thinking about playing for today, but I'm saving it for another day. I do have to familiarize myself a little bit more with that deck. Okay, he is actually on Jeskai. Okay, we wanted to see this land. Let's go all out with our creatures, and then next turn, if he hasn't done anything to these creatures, we can double spell, present 7 damage just from creatures, and 6 damage from the spells. I imagine our opponent is going to reveal something though now. Path to Exile, yes. Chooses to path the Goblin Guide instead of the Monastery Swiftspear. I would usually path the Monastery since it can become a bigger threat much faster than the Goblin Guide. I mean, the burn deck basically always has spells to cast. So Blood Sun. Okay, so what does Blood Sun say? When Blood Sun enters the battlefield, draw a card, so it replaces a self-find. All lands lose all abilities except mana abilities. That means he has blanked us on our Arid Mesa, and I cannot go fetch with it. That is devastating. Wow. Is that what that card does? All lands lose all abilities except mana ability. Pay 1 life, go sacrifice and go search for a land is certainly not a mana ability. So that's fun for me. Cool thing though, it does still turn on the Searing Blaze. So if he throws out a blocker, we can get in with the Searing Blaze at full power and pump our Swiftspear up. However, the Boros Charm and the Lightning Helix they're probably not coming out of our hand anytime soon. That being said, we do play 8 white sources, 4 shocks, and 4 of the fast lands. So there are ways to find the white source, of course. There's the Valakut Awakening. Is he just not playing any creatures, though? You know what I'd love to see right now? I'd love to see a Delver of Secrets. More than anything. That's not true. I'd love to see a white source more than anything. But second to that is a Delver of Secrets. So he used this to put any number of cards from his hand onto the bottom of his library. How many cards? He only put 1 on the bottom, and he drew 1. That's not a lot. So Blood Sun, a card I didn't think I'd have to play around, but I did say earlier that the Boros deck can be weak to Blood Moon. Okay. And here we're seeing it. I should certainly have used the Arid Mesa earlier on. On turn 2, I drew the mountain. I wasn't even thinking. I just played it out. I was kind of on autopilot, and you know what? That's going to cost me the game. Lotus Field producing a ton of mana for our opponent right now because it came in with the Blood Sun. He didn't have to sacrifice anything. And now I think we're kind of under the thumb of his deck. He's got a Teferi that's going to certainly ultimate very soon. He's untapping with 6 mana. And I am just missing... Oh, I shouldn't have played that. Hardcast Searing Blaze out of desperation. Yeah, playing that land was a blunder. You may as well force it, you know. Okay, cool deck. A deck I am not familiar with whatsoever. I really wonder what his big finisher is. Well, that's a big finisher. Shark Typhoon. He is now going to be creating giant flying sharks based on the CMC of the spells he casts. And that is the end of this game. All right. That hurt. That is a good example of just being unfamiliar with what your opponent's up to and kind of playing loosely and getting punished for it. The Syrian Blazes feel bad. I don't know if he's playing anything outside of the Sharks. They might just be his only win con. It's not going to hit anything. He's just playing maybe Force of Negation. There's the argument for the Wear Tear because it did, that Blood Moon or Blood Sun rather could hose us. And I think there's an argument for the Pithing Needle to come in to name Big Jace, Hero of Dominaria, and probably Baby Jace. Not Jace, rather. Sorry. Big Teferi and Baby Teferi. And he might be playing Jace as well. I'm not sure. But, yeah, we'll go like this. We had a good start, but he did have a couple of answers that held us in our place, and he locked out the game simply because I did not go fetch for the proper land like an idiot. So this is a good hand. We do have the fetch that I wonder if I'm going to crack off right away because I'm scared. I think I can wait at least one turn. Lean on the Goblin Guide. Hopefully apply some pressure and find some more direct damage spells. All right, get in for 2. Reveal something, you traitorous Goblin Guide. Always betraying. Okay, Cryptic Command. At least it didn't put a land into our opponent's hand. I have a love-hate relationship with Goblin Guide. It's an awesome card, but boy, oh boy, does it aggravate me sometimes. Reveal another card. It's likely that he has a path, yeah. So we'll go get a mountain, sure. Reveals a Snapcaster, so let's suspend a Rift Bolt. And you know what? Do it now. Fire off this Goblin Spike. Or Lava Spike. Goblin Spike. That'd be a cool card. What would a Goblin Spike card be? Okay. So Rift Bolt comes off, deals 3 more damage to our opponent. I would have liked to have kept that Goblin Guide around a little bit longer, obviously, but that's the life of a poor goblin. Good news is we do get that. You know what? I think it's worth it. He doesn't have counter magic up. He might have a Force of Negation, but just put 4 damage on his face right when we can. We got 3 more coming. If he's got nothing, which is very unlikely, we could possibly draw another burn spell. We do have the skewers that will trigger Spectacle off of the Rift Bolt that's coming down the pipe. So, good shape right now. That is not the card I want to see. Fire this off, see if he has... Well, he has nothing. So I think... Since he's not representing a Force of Negation, I'm going to try to redraw, and we get the Skullcrack for next turn. Yeah. Might just be fast enough this game. Okay, he's got the Lotus Field. He's going to have to sack 2 lands. If he has a way of untapping the Lotus Field this turn, that could be quite good for him. That means he'll be able to hold up. Okay, he doesn't. I was thinking he'd be able to hold up the Cryptic Command for this Skullcrack. The Skullcrack right now is going to the face and hoping it works out. Okay. So our opponent wasn't able to get his mana fast enough for the 4 CMC Cryptic Command. Thankfully, he didn't have any Force Negations in hand to slow us down. And we are going into Game 3 of our final match of the day. All right, so we have 2 creatures. I like the Eidolon against this deck. Goblin Guide, sure. Opponent going down to 6 cards on the play. And we draw another land. Obviously, no more lands for us. Please, deck. But we can get in for 1. Or 2, rather, with 1 creature. Reveal a card. Let's see what it is. He's got the Lightning Bolt. So our opponent's been doing very well at removing our early aggression, and he's going to have another lightning bolt for our Eidolon, which that hurts. The Eidolon will only really be able to do okay, well, new plan. Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide can eat I'd rather the Goblin Guide eat the lightning bolt, especially when our opponent will then be down to 3 cards. So there's lightning bolt. We knew it was coming. We'll throw out a mountain this turn. Hang on. Platinum Imperium. If our opponent plays that, it's GG. I don't think I can get around that. I didn't think I would need that, although we do have the wear tears, so maybe. But I feel like that Platinum Imperium is a long ways away. However, he is playing Lotus Field, so he's able to generate quite a bit of mana very quickly. Let's skewer. And then I think it's got to be Eidolon, although it looks like he's holding up counter magic for the Eidolon. Wow. He's got a path. So the Eidolon does get in for a little bit of damage. Okay. And then he cycled a Shark Typhoon for no value. Still, our opponent is in very good shape because he's at 12 life. Although he is down to 2 cards, and we know one of those cards is a Platinum Imperium, so it's possible that he's just gonna run out of steam. We have a Lightning Bolt in hand, so he's effectively at 6. Let's hope. We still need good draws. Madcap Experiment gets a Platinum Imperium. Okay. Well, it might be a bit of a sad end to this league, but that's cool. Wear Tear, though, right now? No. All right, so he's on a 2. I'm on a 2-turn clock. He's going to hit me with Imperium right now. I need the Wear Tear. If I don't draw the Wear Tear, it's over. I guess in theory I could draw another Lightning Bolt. I could deal 3 spells to the opponent. No. All right. That's the end of the league. A very sad finish for us, going 3-2. Ran into a very neat deck at the end. Did go. I said GGs, and our opponent said not really. Let's see if we can. Burn isn't fun in any capacity to play against. Oh, sorry you feel that way. Opponent is really having a. All I did was play 1 card and beat you. Yeah, it was a great card. GG's. Opponent a little salty. I don't know. He's taken a win. I don't know why he's feeling upset about his life right now. You got me, bud. Take the win and enjoy it. Okay, don't be too sad, Mr. Potato Person. Things will get better for you.